What's going on, everybody? By my side is the beautiful Noah Borntrugger. I'm Will Hunt, and you're listening to another episode of the Down South Sports Podcast. We are here on a special Black Friday edition post-Thanksgiving. I myself have had family at the house all day long. We may have had a couple drinks, may have had a couple laughs, a little bit of pizza, so maybe out and about there a little bit today. But I'm going to kick it over to Noah and see how his Thanksgiving was, dude. How was it?
No, Thanksgiving was great. Ate all the food. Family came over here, so.
Oh, that's right. You hosted.
That's right.
How did that go?
Good.
Yeah?
It's second year in a row, so we're veterans at this point, so we're good.
Oh, dang. My dude ain't no rookie. He's got it going on. So you're telling me Zoe handled everything?
Of course.
Of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you help do the dishes or?
Yes.
Okay.
I played my role. I know my role.
My man said I played my role. That's what I'm talking about. Well, dude, what do you want to get into to start this off this evening?
Well, I mean, my Thanksgiving was great, and I'm not
Yeah.
taking anything away from that, but I'm fed up with the Dodgers. We have not talked about baseball at all on here.
Who now?
This time of year.
Let's start this. Not to interrupt you, but let's start this. Who is your team?
Braves fan.
Braves fan. Okay, so I'm right there with you. Go. Yeah, absolutely. Bravos all day. Would love to see Raleigh get a MLB team one day, but until that time, been a Braves fan since I was a kid. But I myself am not a Dodgers fan. I married into a Dodgers family, so I do have to hear about a lot of that. But what do you want to talk about the Dodgers? What are they doing?
All the deferred money, man. It's just defer. I mean, to be honest, it's a great business strategy, right? If you predict that your business is going to appreciate, then you can afford that contract over time. I get it. But the baseball world has to step in here. I mean, you're looking at Snell, 5 years, $182 million, on top of what they have with Ohtani, on top of Betts, on top of Freeman. And I mean, you're just talking about so much deferred money here, and then they go out and sign Tommy Edman with the same idea or same premise with deferred money, right? 5 years, 100 or 74 mil, and a 6-year option built in there. So they just know how to spend money, and I don't know. I mean, baseball with the no salary cap, and I think this is the greatest differential of like team, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does.
Like, if the A's can only spend $80 million, right? How are they going to compete with somebody that went out and spent $74 million on a player like Tommy Edman? Not to take anything away from Tommy Edman, but I think a lot of that paycheck is built off of his postseason kind of run. Yeah. I don't think that's the true player that he is. But I don't know, man. It's just so much money spent in there, and just, again, another team that we're thinking about within the Yankees know how to spend money, right? They're getting paid more by the Tampa Bay Rays this year. So the Tampa Bay Rays are spending more money to rent the Yankee Spring Training Stadium than to put their product on the field. So all of their players combined don't equate to how much money they are paying the Yankees, their rival, their division rival. So, I don't know, man. Baseball's a money issue, I think. Long term, I don't know how this is going to play out, but the whole deferred money thing is something we've never really seen, honestly, in kind of all of sports, right? Like how much deferred money they're giving. Baseball is kind of notorious for that. I know the Mets fans out there know Bobby Vanilla Day, so I always text my boy Corey, remind him the Bobby Vanilla Day, $1 million for however freaking long that was. But that's deferred money, right? And baseball kind of started that, and the Dodgers have really leaned into it. And I'm just fed up with it, dude. Like we baseball world has to do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Like you said, you did see that starting in MLB, but you obviously have seen it creep into a lot of other sports. Especially I think one of the big ones was when Mahomes signed that $500 million deal for 10 years. I think like the whole front end of that contract was he was barely getting any money. All of it was deferred to like the last 2 or 3 years of that contract, which again, in the present time works. But there's always loopholes in the salary cap sports. Football, hockey, you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning the last couple of years, they were able to keep Kucherov,
Vegas?
Hedman. Yeah, even Vegas. But they have all the Vegas and Tampa were two great teams to talk about it. I don't know how in the world Vegas accrued all these stars via the trade deadline, It was never free agent signings. It was all of these stars that they got with contracts that were still 2 or 3 years down the line. But that's what sports is turning into. There's so many smart money guys. You can look here at home in the Panthers. Brant Tillis coming over from Kansas City, who is, I believe, his title is assistant GM, but he handles most of the contract negotiations. My man is a genius when it comes to learning or putting forward how to defer money in contracts and making sure the entire salary cap works for the whole team. That's what he did in Kansas City. That's why they were able to be so successful. You have all these massive superstars that they were able to defer a lot of these contracts to still continue to put pieces around those stars to keep that production going for those teams. So I think that's the name of the game. Again, we talk about this all the time. These professional sports are businesses. They are in the business to make money. And if there are loopholes to be made to make super teams continue to be super teams, they're going to find a way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's why I said baseball has to step in, right? Because the Dodgers, again, it's a smart business decision. If you anticipate your business appreciating over time, which I'm sure the Dodgers do, then you can afford that contract long term. And it's not backloaded contracts, right? It's not backloaded contracts. It is deferred money. So it is past their contract termination, basically, right? So they're no longer with the team, and they're still going to be paid. And I think that's the difference with baseball too, though. Is like it's not just backloaded contracts, right? It is you are getting paid much further than when you're playing. Probably, I mean, Ohtani's probably going to be retired by the time he's getting most of his contract from the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
So
Ohtani's going to start him a couple sake bars back home. Still get paying all those that contract money. My man's going to be living the lap of luxury over there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, brother. You know my man, when he goes back home, is absolutely just showered with people. I couldn't imagine. I mean, it's crazy to think about, man. It really is. But I know we had a big Black Friday game for the Hurricanes today. They started their back-to-back with the Florida Panthers. Again, I said in the beginning, had a lot of family over. Nicole's family, a lot of her cousins were over. He had a phenomenal time, but I only was able to catch a little bit of the first period and then a little bit of on and off of the second and third, but I know you were able to watch it, so I kind of want to hear your thoughts. I believe the final was 6-3, correct?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Yeah. So I want to.
With empty netter.
Yeah, I want to hear a little bit of your thoughts of. I know we want to talk about the goalie situation. It's not where we want it to be. I know we're dealing with some injuries with Freddie and Piotr, but tell me kind of what you saw from this game and something maybe you think the Canes need to do to ratify this goalie issue moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, well, honestly, you saw enough. If you saw the first goal that the Panthers scored, you saw enough. And that's I knew it, that Martin was not on his game, and I haven't seen him on his game since, honestly, the shutout. Right? Like, he had that. I mean, that's a phenomenal outing, and he's done more than, honestly, we should ask of him at this point. So it's time to find something else. I mean, dude looked like Swiss cheese tonight. And, I mean, soft backhander from 30, 40 feet away to open the game to Boquist, who, I mean, I think he has 3 goals on the year, right? He's not known for that. And then you look at the rest of the game, just, I don't know. The Canes looked uninspired. That first goal of the third period to make it 4-3, well, first, we can argue too many men on the ice, but I won't go down that road too much here. Control what you can control. AJ Greer's wrister from about 2 steps in from the blue line, unacceptable. I mean, just unacceptable. You have to make those saves. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't anticipate or want Spencer Martin to be Freddie Anderson or that level of goalie, right? I don't expect that of him. But when you're letting in the AJ Greer goal, the Jesper Rokas goal to start the game off, like, we just can't have that. Like, Sam Reinhart, that's a snipe. Cardi Verhaeghe's goal, that was a defensive breakdown. And then, I mean, once it's 4-3, we're pressing there in the third period. So, I have a couple other thoughts, but I'll let you take over for now.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, just we talked about this last episode. Is you're handicapped by bringing up the salary cap again. I believe the Canes' current salary cap is you've got about $1.5 million. and you're really not able to go out there and get a goalie that can help you contribute the way you need a number one goalie to contribute without giving away a player to clear some of that salary cap up. So the Canes they're in a tough spot. I mean, they really are. Obviously you've got a Brent Burns who has a high salary cap, but you're not going to get someone like a Brent Burns who's 39 years old, almost 40, to trade away. You're going to have to include some sort of high draft capital to be able to do that. And again, we know how the Canes operate. The Canes operate a phenomenal defensive game in front of their goalies. But to your point, you can't be letting in soft backhanders near essentially the blue line. I mean, a couple strides inside the blue line, you can't be letting a backhander go in. That's just unacceptable. I mean, those are back-breaking goals. Again, one of the biggest back-breaking goals I can remember was last year, Game 6, or Game 5, I believe, or Game 6, that you were there in what used to be PNC. Freddie let up one of the absolute softest goals I've ever seen, ended up and cost the Canes the season. So it's, again, I'm not saying it's easy to play goalie in the NHL. Don't think I'm saying that, but for the Canes to continue the strong start to the season they have, something's got to change.
No, I mean, I agree, and dude, I don't know. We're in a tough spot all around because ultimately we're talking Freddie Anderson here. Realistically, he's not going to be ready till about the playoffs, just like last year. And what did you just say? What happened last year? It's not like we're anticipating Freddie Anderson to be something he's not. I'm sorry. We just are. Like, the Canes have really never had a great goalie and since probably, honestly, Cam Morton.
Yep.
If we're going to be honest, right? If we're going to really look at it and sit down and say a consistently good 1A goalie.
You're 100% right. And they wasted Cam's career, unfortunately to say it, with the subpar teams they had through the 2010s. Cam would consistently make 40 to 50 save nights. I mean,
in the game. Yes,
to keep you in the game, but there again, you essentially wore my man out through that whole decade that he was done. And you do not have. I think everyone's waiting for Coach Chekhov to kind of take hold of that net, and I do think he was playing good. Don't get me wrong. We have talked about this off camera, off episode, that we both don't believe Coach Chekhov is the answer long term. Again, I believe Anderson has one more year. I think this is the last year on his contract. But I don't see a lot when I look as far as free agents coming up for this year. There's not a lot to be excited about in the goalie market. And like you said, Carolina has always struggled since Rod Brind'Amour started. He has never had a true number one goaltender. Can you imagine if you had a Bobrovsky, a Vasilevsky, whoever it may be, you have one of those 1A, 1B goalies in the NHL with the teams we've had since 2019. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm biased, but I think you've got at least one Stanley Cup in there. Yeah. More than likely two. You just do. And, goalie's the backstop of the league. I believe that goaltender in the NHL is very equivalent to quarterback in the NFL and college football. It is absolutely the most detrimental position, but it definitely gets looked at more of a offensive line perspective. People think of it on the back burner, but I truly believe that it's just as important as a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, well, the defense in front of you always matters, right? And I think the Canes' defense has always made any goalie look better. Peter Mrazek, for example.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to know what that looks like as a Canes fan. What does that look like when we have a legit goalie? And I know me, along with all the other Canes fans, when we brought Freddie Anderson in, we took a deep breath and we're like, we got it. Yep. This is the goalie that we've always wanted, right? And we actually have a team in front of him to perform. Now he's gotten hurt and he's underperformed, right? And then and Piotr, I think he has abilities. And I would much rather see him be 1A in the playoffs than Freddie. Yeah. Why not? We've already gone down that road. We know what's going to happen, right? And that's ultimately why Toronto, right? He was with Toronto before that.
Yes. Yeah, Freddie.
Right? That's why they moved on from him, right? Because they went down that road, and I'm now seeing that as a Canes fan. I wasn't connected with the Maple Leaves and what they were doing, but I understand now that he was good enough to get you there, but not good enough to win, right? So, and we are at a place now where the franchise is that it is, we don't need to just get there. We're done getting there. It's time to win, right? So, I don't know what you do, man. I really don't. I mean, this is Eric, whatever his last name is,
Tulsky.
Thank you.
Yeah, Eric Tulsky.
This is his first kind of, it's your move, big guy. Like, we have the team in front of him. We've been performing all year, and I'm just afraid that we're going to kind of start to slip, and then their defense is going to lose their confidence as well, right? And when you let those soft goals in, yeah, it might not be your fault as a defense or defensive core. You feel that, though. Like, that is, that you let that goal up, no other way to draw that up, right? So,
yeah. I'll let me put it this way. Eric Tulsky coming into his first year as general manager for the Hurricanes, he had a tough start at the point when Don Waddell decided to resign and go eventually be the general manager for the Columbus Blue Jackets. From the landscape that Tulsky had to deal with to start out, he knew, and I hate to say this word because we've played so good to start the year, but he kind of knew this year would be a wash in the aspect of players that he could acquire, whether it be from trade or free agency. Because obviously we looked at the free agent market, there just wasn't a lot there. There really wasn't. And there's a lot of pretty hefty contracts for some older players and players that are not really bringing that production on the ice that is going to expire after this year. And I know I discussed earlier that there's not a lot of goaltender free agent signings possibilities for this next year, but the free agency for next year in the NHL, it's hot. There are some talented players on the free agency block for next year. So, when I'm Eric Tulsky and I'm looking at the start to the year, I don't think that you thought before this year started that you would have the record you have currently, and I think you just ride it out until you can get Kochetkov back. You obviously knew you were going to ride with Anderson and Kochetkov the whole season. You obviously started better, and you thought you were going to start. You have to ride it out. I do not see where there is one good goalie that you can try and acquire. There is no Allmark and Swayman goaltender duo that you can acquire in the NHL this year. There's no. Okay, well, okay. You know what? Go ahead. Give me some. Let me see. I could eat a little crow here. Could eat a little crow.
Look at Utah.
Okay.
Right
Talk
now,
to
it's
me.
not a good situation.
Talk to me.
Connor Ingram is hurt, right? But Connor Ingram will be back. Connor Ingram is 1A. Karel Vejmelka.
Vejmelka's a player. Yeah, like Vejmelka's a player.
1A when he plays against us. I've seen him plenty of times.
There's a lot of goalies that look 1A against us. But to your credit, I'm sorry to interrupt. The kid's got talent. He's got skill. He's got skill.
It's I don't know. It's not something off the wall. And I'm not exactly sure what his contract looks like. I'm sure it's not big. So that's just I saw that kind of pop up, and I was like, that one makes sense when Connor Ingram comes back.
Yeah.
If Connor Ingram comes back, I mean, you look at Utah, I don't know, they're terrible this year. I don't know what they are. But they're not winning. They're not competing, right? So, I mean, even give them a 7th round pick, 6th round pick, something like, I don't think you're going to demand a lot from Karel. He's 28. So, I don't think you're going to demand a lot from him.
Are you talking about picking up Ingram or Vejmelka?
No, Vejmelka. Connor Ingram's too expensive.
Is Ingram currently hurt?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So would you still pick up Vejmelka even after Kochetkov comes back?
Yes.
Off injury?
Yeah. I mean, they're clearly not confident enough in Peretz to put him in net. I would truly believe he would have been in net tonight after the first period if Rod believed in him. 3 goals in the first period. I do think he was saving Peretz for one of these back-to-backs. Obviously didn't play him tonight. I don't see how you put Spencer Martin in goal tomorrow night in Florida. So we go Peretz away?
I completely agree. We said last episode we think Peretz should have been in this game, in the slot, home against the Panthers, and then you throw Martin in away. I know it's not all of Rod's decision. You have a goaltender coach, and he answers a ton of goalie questions in every press conference, and that's one thing that's always got if I could nitpick, ladies and gentlemen, I love Roderick Brindamore. I have no damn idea if his first name is Roderick, but it just sounded right. I love that man. And if I had to nitpick, one of the only things that frustrates me about him is how he's dealt with the goalie situation since he's been the head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes. And again, it's not just him. There is a goalie coach that sees things behind the scenes that we as fans do not see. So I'm not putting this on Rod. But it's hard for me to believe that you put Spencer Martin in, who has been in this organization for over a year now, and you do not put Yanni Peretz playing at home against the Florida Panthers in a back-to-back situation, and he's your only other option besides Spencer Martin.
Yeah, I mean, unless they make a move in the next, 10 hours.
10 hours, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Rod's kind of handcuffed, right? I mean, we just saw what's going to happen if we put Martin back in net, and we're going to be in Florida.
Yep.
Right? So, we've already seen that story. Let's try a different one. And I think that's my frustration a lot of the times is, why keep beating a dead horse? And speaking of beating a dead horse, Andrei Svechnikov is a fourth liner until proven otherwise.
I saw that text earlier, and I hate to say this, but I'm with you.
His puck control is dog shit. I mean, I have watched him play since he came in the league. He's never looked so lackadaisical. He does not care about puck control. He's not laying the body. He's not shooting the puck. And then he decides to pass in situations where there is no open passing lanes.
Yeah.
I'm done watching that.
Yeah.
That is a fourth liner. Go lay some. Like Eric Robinson deserves way more playing time than him.
Yeah.
He is a fourth liner until proven otherwise, and that breaks my heart as a Canes fan to say. But watching the games, he cannot be on the ice and be costing possession time, puck time with Aho and Jarvis and players like that. Natchez, obviously. Yeah. I mean, we can't be turning the puck over in those situations. We have to have a puck-conscious player alongside those talents, right? And if Svechnikov's not that, then...
Our rookie Jackson Blake has better puck possession so far this year than Andrei Svechnikov, which
much
is...
smaller?
Oh, it's baffling because, I mean, I'm not saying Blake can get to this point, but he's not there now. Svechnikov, his skills are way beyond Blake, in my opinion. He just... I don't know what it is. I know a couple episodes ago we were talking about what we thought he was thinking when it came to a pass-or-shoot situation, and I said that I think he was too afraid to be selfish. But at this point, after watching him the last couple games, I don't know what it is. I don't know if my man needs, a Bryce Young situation and take a couple games off and watch a couple games from the box. See some games from up top, little aerial view, get a different look. I don't know because it's there. It's there. He's just not a consistent player. My man can play one game, and me and you could get googly-eyed over the hard hits, the good skating. He could snipe one, upper left corner, have a couple assists, and you're like, man, that's the guy we drafted second overall. That's the kid that we wanted. And then the other 5 games after that one game, you're thinking, who the hell is this? Who is this guy that thinks he can play in our top 6? He's not a top 6 player. He's not. He's a bottom 6 guy, and he's a fourth liner, a guy that'll lay the body and has a little bit of offensive upside. Jordan Martinook has had more offensive upside this year than Andrei Svechnikov has. And I'm not... Hey, look, I'm not talking shit against Jordan Martinook because that man can go Gretzky mode in a second. We talk about this all the time. Look, sorry, Wayne, but Marty Party is where it's at. That I would rather have Jordan Martinook playing with a Sebastian Aho, a Seth Jarvis, a Marty Natchez than Andrei Svechnikov. It's that bad. And to your point, it is sad to say. It is really sad to say because, damn it, I love that guy. I do, and I still want him to succeed. It's not about that. It's just about the product he's putting on the ice right now is not up to par. It's not up to standard.
I mean, some nights he looks like Evgeny, and some nights he's Andre. Right? Yep. Too often this year it's Evgeny. So, I don't know. I'm just looking at it and just kind of hoping maybe. We've kind of gone down this road with Natchez, right, until this year. This is the first year where he's really breaking out and making a name for himself. he's 25. Natchez is 25.
Yep.
Andrei Svechnikov 1 year behind him. So is he 1 year behind him? Crossing my fingers, but again, fourth liner until proven otherwise, in my opinion. And I'm fully on board with you, dude. Just let him take a game off. Yeah. Let him take a game or two off. It's like he's not doing anything for us, anyways. So, like, I don't know. I mean, he's like you said, the last person I would want with the top liner right now, or top six. Jackson Blake, Robinson, like all the Drury, like anybody right now.
Yep.
Maybe not KK. Sorry, Nicole.
For y'all listening, my wife is a diehard Kotkaniemi fan. It's not that he is her favorite player, but Noah and I can't stand this man. We believe that the contract is just awful for the production we get.
Look, it's mainly about the contract.
It's mainly the contract. I personally believe KK, this is his best season so far to start. Mm-hmm. I mean, the dude is laying the wood. He's making great passes. He may not be scoring, but he's making great plays. And when he scored that tying goal to tie it up the other night, and I got that text from you, and you were like, damn it, tell Nicole not to text me. I don't want to hear this shit right now. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But I'm absolutely with you, dude. I'm absolutely with you. Look, I think we need to bring the blood pressure down a little bit. I think we're getting a little red in the face talking about the Canes. Let's talk a little NFL. Did you catch any Turkey Day games yesterday?
I did. First game was good.
Yeah, I thought the first game was better than I thought it would be.
Yes,
I thought Detroit was going to blow them out.
I did too, but it ended up being a pretty good one. I caught most of that one. I think the Lions are really, really good this year. I think their defense is much better than last year, but
even without Aiden Hutchinson,
yeah,
they're still killing it.
And you see that there is potential for him to be back by Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to jinx anything for Lions fans out there, but
I would love to see Dan Campbell in the Super Bowl, dude. I would love to see it.
Yep. No, I mean that'd be a good one. I don't want to see the Chiefs.
No, hell no. You know what? No, put the Chiefs and the Lions out there. I want Dan Campbell. I want my man just chopping at the 50, ready to bite off Mahomes' kneecap. I want him out there just getting after it. Mahomes tries to step out of bounds, and then he fakes it, and Dan Campbell just snatches a patella. Love it.
That would be a good matchup. That would be.
What did you think about the last 2 minutes of that Bears-Lions game? It was a little bit of a shit show.
Yeah, well, I think that was quite a shit show for if anybody was watching. Terrible clock management on the half
awful.
Eberflus there. I think they had 15 seconds after the pass was completed, and they did not get another play off.
Yeah,
and they had a timeout in pocket. Right. Yep. Watching the game, I'm like, Caleb, let's go. But Caleb Williams is a rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
right?
And Caleb even said that he changed the play at the line of scrimmage. But again, to your point, he's a rookie. Eberflus, you should have called the timeout.
Exactly. I mean, you have the timeout. You can't go home with a timeout in your pocket like that. Yeah. As soon as you see that clock at 10 and it's not about to be snapped, we got to just call that timeout, right?
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think everybody in the nation agreed with us, as well as the Bears front office, because today, dropping news was he is fired.
Yep, Ryan Poles said, you're out of here, buddy.
Good.
He started to look a little too much like good old Roy Williams in his timeout scheme. Too many years that I see good old Roy down by 2, 10 seconds left. Team driving down. I'm looking at Roy, looking at the point guard, looking at Roy. No communication. 3 timeouts in pocket. I don't think I could ever be that kind of coach, Noah. I don't think I ever could be. The only coaching I've ever done was powder puff football in high school, and I helped coach a couple games of youth boys basketball for church in a church league, and got to use them timeouts, man. Sometimes you just got to rally the troops. Even you might have to rally yourself. You might be a little shook up. And Eberflus, that man looked deer in headlights. It was bad.
Like, was he not prepared to be in that situation? I don't understand that, like, at all. Like, as a coach, you have to know the time more than anybody in the field. You have to know the timeouts. You have to know the situation. I mean, a field goal wins the game, right? Not ties the game. It's winning the football game right in front of you, right? And you just can't not call that timeout. Right?
Especially being a coach in an Eberflus situation that your ass is on the hot seat.
Already.
You're not a coach that has 8 or 9 wins this point in the season. You're fighting and coaching for your career. Yeah. And my man just looked like he just fumbled. He fumbled the bag. I mean, he fumbled that last 2 minutes of that game. It was some of the worst clock management I've ever seen. It was a child between Roy Williams and Dave Doeren. And you want to talk about? I mean, that is abysmal. It was bad, but yeah, as you said, Eberflus out as the Chicago Bears head coach. We will see in the offseason what they decide to do moving forward. There's a couple good names out there, and a lot of people don't think about this. You still got a Mike Vrabel out there. Obviously, coached Tennessee Titans. They were ready to move on and move on to a little more offensive-minded head coach. But you want to talk about a culture builder, that man will build you a culture in a second. And that's just one name to throw out there, not to get in the weeds about that, but it'll be interesting to see what Chicago does. As far as our good old Carolina Panthers, they will be hosting Dave Canales' former team, and we will be hosting Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it's going to be interesting. I at this point, I fully expect Bryce to come out and keep slinging it, and I think Dave's going to keep calling those plays to give him the ability to do that. I do believe we may see a little more Jonathan Brooks in this game. Not saying that Chuba obviously shouldn't be running back one. He should 100% get 80 to 90% of the snaps, but I think that you still include Brooks a little more in the game plan. I don't know if 2 snaps was what the coaches and the doctors came up with for Brooks' first game. I thought it was a little interesting where they put him in those 2 snaps. In the game, I was a little confused with the second snap. I want to say it was sometime in the second half, and it was after a commercial break, first down, really crucial drive, and I'm like, I mean, as much as I want to see Jonathan Brooks here, handsome Dave, what are you doing? What are we doing here? So I haven't seen the injuries and what the rosters look like as far as Sunday yet, but I believe it's going to be a good game. If the Panthers come out and play like they did against the Chiefs, offensively and defensively, I think we could have a really good game to watch Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Buccaneers' passing defense is not great, so this is another good team for Bryce to have an opportunity to sling the ball around a little bit. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Jonathan Brooks getting more playing time because, boy, when a hot hand is going, a hot hand is going. And
I agree, but you know what? You got to spell my boy at some point. No, I mean, you don't want to run him into the ground.
Yeah, no, I guess you're 90% snap rate out.
And you spent a second-round draft pick on Jonathan Brooks.
Yes.
You spent a high draft pick. You got to see what the kid's got. You got to work him in.
Yeah, the whole running back room is very interesting right now with the Miles Sanders contract, and he's running back.
He's not going to be back next year. That's not happening. Yeah. No. And he's on. I think they're going to leave him on IR probably the rest of the year. Yes. I would assume. Yeah. So
no, there's no need to pull him off. And I'm sure he wants to be that way because he's going to be looking for a team. So he wants to be healthy doing that. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting game. I think Adam Thielen's going to have a little day.
I love seeing fiery Adam Thielen. By the way, yes. I love seeing that against the Chiefs. I just the fire at 34, 35 years old, just it makes me so excited.
He still got it, man.
He does. He's got the juice.
I think we're on the same page now. I want him back. You brought that up a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, there we go.
Maybe, but I think you're right with the veteran presence as well, and showing those guys how to be pros. I think pays dividends, and then he can still produce, right? So he'll catch the ball. I don't know, not much yak, but.
Hey,
he'll catch the ball.
Get me those first downs. I don't give a fuck how many yak yards you get. You get me those first downs. Hey, the Carolina Panthers are running a promotion right now. I saw earlier that you can enter a raffle, you can enter a giveaway, and you get 2 tickets to an upcoming game, field passes, and you get a meeting and hang out with Adam Thielen.
What are we talking here?
Well, I mean, a little bit of your hard-earned money, but that's nothing new. Just win you a couple more bets. I mean, you're the betting professional over there. You're basically the Las Vegas sports book.
I had another day today, so we're living.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh. I don't know what got into me, but I bet on San Jose State. I bet on their college football game spread at 2.5, and it hit.
And who was San Jose State playing?
Stanford.
Oh, Stanford.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, who's betting a little ACC ball? Okay.
It was good odds.
It was good odds. I love it. Look, y'all ever need some good bets placed, just go ahead and hit up the socials to my boy Noah over here. He'll get you straight. But yeah, that's great. We'll see how the game looks Sunday. I think it's going to be a good one. I think the biggest test for the Panthers will be is Bucky Irving in his rookie year. I think that kid is running the rock really, really good. Again, if the Panthers D-line with Wanham, Clowney, as long as those guys are coming in healthy and continue to hold the edges, and Trevin Wallace and Josie Jewell can ensure the middle of that defense stays contained, I think the Panthers really got a good chance to win, man. I really do. I think we're rolling right now. I think the chemistry's building. I wish, but I also don't. I don't know if you saw this, but a lot of the players talking about after the Chiefs game last week that Bryce had a message for everybody. And essentially the words, this is not verbatim, obviously, but Bryce said this game was not a fluke. Yep. This is what we're about. And they interviewed people from Chuba Hubbard, J.C. Horn, a lot of veterans on that team, and they just said, look, even Xavier Legette, my man Xavier Legette said he was ready to go out there and fight after that game, after hearing that speech from Bryce. They were just talking about that this is who Bryce is and who he has become these last couple weeks. So I'm really excited to see him continue that leadership role and continue that really good play we've seen. So it's like you said a couple episodes ago, this is Bama Bryce. This is that point guard, that distributor of the ball, that accurate quarterback that we were essentially promised first overall pick, and man, we've seen it. So I don't know if you have any more thoughts on that, but I really do think we got a good chance Sunday.
No, man, I just want to keep seeing him progress. I don't care win, loss. Honestly, I don't. At this point in the Panthers season, I just want to see Bryce progress, and I want to see the team progress. And I think if that's the case, though, they win. So yeah. I think no Chris Godwin. I feel like I just see that dude always eat against us. So I'm glad to see him, unfortunately for him, on the IR.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting for sure. I think the Bucs defense is not as strong as we're kind of used to seeing. So it'll be interesting all around.
For sure, dude. For sure. I've been waiting to get into this. We have to. I have to get into this. So tomorrow, again, this is being recorded Friday evening, Black Friday. Tomorrow is the game. Rivalry day. NC State, Carolina. Mac Brown's already gone. My man's gone. Robert and I, rumors, he's gone. Dave Doeren, does he get the boys fired up to get a win in Chapel Hill?
Dude, I keep going back and forth with this. I think I'm swinging all the way back to State now. I'm not.
Boy, you've come full circle.
I'm not betting on this game.
Well, that straight bourbon over there has made my man run a racetrack. He's done a 360 over there.
That's right. No, I don't know, man. Like, I think I trust State right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trusting them to go in there and handle business. I think they do always get fired up, right? It is interesting. Mac's not there. Did they name an interim?
No. So Mac's coaching in this game.
Okay.
Mac is still going to be head coach in this game tomorrow against NC State. I'm not sure what's going on with the bowl game. He said he didn't make any declarations that he would be taking the role of head coach in the bowl game. He just said that he would help the team prepare however need be. So tomorrow will be Mac as his last game as head coach at UNC Chapel Hill. So, I've gone back and forth as well. I don't have my bourbon currently, but I had plenty of bourbon earlier today. It's tough, man. You look at it from your logical side, right? You're not North Carolina triangle football view. You've got legendary head coach Mack Brown. You've got senior day. Mack wants to send these seniors out right. He's a college football Hall of Famer head coach. If you look outside of the triangle, everyone's thinking, oh, Carolina's got this. They've got this. They're absolutely going to win this game for Mack Brown and send him out cheering him on. Mack's on everybody's shoulders. Everything ends the right way in Chapel Hill. Here's the problem. I've been a Carolina fan most of my life. And I've seen how we operate. And I know a lot of State fans feel the same way. State fans know how they operate. I am not sold on this team. I see that perspective of people thinking they're going to go win one for Mack. I think Mack Brown wants to win this game for the seniors. Do the rest of these players really give a fuck and want to go out there and play this game? I truly believe the players love Mack Brown. I think Mack Brown is a lovable coach, and I'm sure if I was a player on that team, I would love him too. And I don't think they're super happy about it. Some of them might be, but I think a lot of them are upset. I think it was the correct move, but I think a lot of those players aren't stoked about Mack leaving because he's just that lovable of a guy as your coach. And I do not see this game going well for the Tar Heels at all.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you bring up the Carolina side of that, right? Don't you think State's fully aware that this is Mack Brown's last game? Let's send him out on a loss on his own field on his senior night, right? Like there's two sides of that coin, right? So I know what you mean as far as the boys getting fired up for Mack, but like you've always said, the boys know how to get fired up for Dave.
Hey, Dave Doeren's already been calling them pieces of shit all week.
Right.
He started that last week after the loss. Said, you know what? Screw this loss. We're playing those pieces of shit coming up this week. Let's get fired up.
And that's I mean, he knows where his bread is buttered.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
So, I mean, to me, this is low-key a must-win for Dave. I think
1,000%.
Wounded Warrior UNC squad.
Yeah.
And you've had a kind of a rough year, so to alleviate some of that ass burning, let's win a game.
Yeah, I mean, I think Carolina's that injured animal right now, limping down the road. And are you going to put it out of its misery, or are you going to let that thing, get back on all fours and run down the road? We'll see. Like you said, Mack has.
Win.
Yeah, I mean, yes, Amari and Hampton. That's the only way they'll win. Not 4 legs, but 2 legs. It's all on Dave Doeren. Mack Brown doesn't care. After that game, my man can go ride down to his big mansion on Figure 8 Island on the coast, sit there and count his money. I mean, there's nothing to lose for Mack. There's a lot to lose for Dave Doeren. The only reason that Dave Doeren is still the head coach at NC State is because of the way he performs against North Carolina. That is the only reason he is the head coach in NC State still. This is Dave Doeren's Super Bowl, and the man must win. We'll see how it looks. Again, I see State coming out winning. I truly do. That's if you've watched this series over the last 3 to 4 years, I don't see how you don't agree with that. That's just the way it's gone, and that's the way these series in the Triangle always seem to kind of have a segments. It's not State will win 1 year, Carolina will win 1 year, and vice versa, and back and forth. Yeah, it's State will win for 4 or 5 years. Carolina will win for 3 or 4 years. It's never. There's always momentum going a long time for one team. It's never back and forth. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I think it'll be good. But as far as Carolina's coaching search, there's been a lot of shit talked about. And there's been a lot of people thinking that Carolina can go out and swing for the fences. Let me get on my. Do you mind if I get on my soapbox for a minute? Can I get on my soapbox just for a couple minutes?
Yes, sir. We're here.
So, we obviously love ACC football, right? We love the ACC, okay? I have always believed what a lot of the local media pundits have said about Carolina football being a sleeping giant. And here's why. Do I think Carolina and State have similar facilities. Yes, I believe they both have really good facilities. Do I believe that they both have really good fan bases? Yes, I believe both of them can show out for their football teams. When you look at Carolina, and you have to add in the success of other sports, mainly basketball, and you look at their alumni, and you look at the Jordan brand, and you look at all of these things, when you go into, let's just say you go take a trip to Japan, there's a lot of people that are wearing North Carolina logoed stuff. That's a popular brand worldwide. You see it a lot. You see that Jordan brand. You see the Tar Heel. You see the logo. You just see it. And I truly believe there is no reason, and you can throw State in here a little bit, but again, this is mainly Carolina. There is no reason that Carolina cannot be a Clemson. I truly believe that. There is no reason that Carolina can't be a Clemson. With everything that university can provide and the boosters and the alumni that they have, there is no reason you cannot bring a head coach in with your NIL budget, with your boosters, with the success of that university, that logo, that branding, and not be successful and be a powerhouse in the ACC. I don't know how you can't be. It truly is one of college football's sleeping giants. Now I'm going to step back from the soapbox a little bit, and I want to ask you, do you agree with that at all? Because it's, again, you grew up a State fan. There's a little difference here. But I want to hear your thoughts because I've never really talked to you about this.
I mean, yes and no, right? I mean, they have the facilities, they have the money, they have a lot of the backing as far as, like you're saying, the branding, worldwide branding that a lot of the universities don't have, right? Like even the big brands, like you're saying you want to be like a Clemson, right? You're not going to see those worldwide, right? That's pretty centralized, but I don't know. They're definitely a few steps away. Not even to the one. They're a few steps away. And this might be the step, though, right? Depending on who they bring in. I know I texted you Arthur Smith, but that was just one of the first rumors I saw. So, but I mean, I think that it kind of starts.
God no. No.
I think it kind of starts here, though, right? To answer your question would be, who is the head coach, right? Yeah. If you're going to wake up a sleeping giant, how do you do it? It's with the leader, right? So who is going to be the leader of that pack?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of that depends on that. And that's why I do agree with the Mac Brown kind of fire, to be honest with you. He was a staple there, but was he going to move that needle for you to be kind of maybe what UNC wants to be? And they're on the same page with you, right? They think they're a college football sleeping giant. They have other sports there that will always help support that too, right? So they don't have to rely on football as much as some other schools. So I don't know. I see where you're going with that, and I see where Carolina wants the fan base to think. Like, I mean, why would you not want to sell your fan base on we are a sleeping giant, right? So,
yeah, yes, I'll give you that. I don't want to interrupt you, but I do agree with you that I'm not saying Carolina is one step away from unlocking that full potential in their football program. It's just hard to not look at the brand of North Carolina and go, there's no way in hell that they cannot be a Clemson. There's just not. Obviously, Clemson had some really good teams. You look at those Deshaun Watson teams; those are really, really good teams. But at the same time, what if you lined up a Sam Howell and Drake May offense with one of those Clemson defenses? You're looking at a completely different program, brother. A completely different program. So there's a lot of things that have to be done. To your point, there's multiple steps you have to get to that point. I believe that sleeping giant is the ultimate potential. As the great Michael Jordan said, the ceiling is the roof. And we will go from there. But as far as head football coaching candidates, there's been a lot of rumors. Like you said, Arthur Smith was talked to, the current feedback from him is that he is happy in Pittsburgh. You look at even a Ben Johnson with Detroit. He has Carolina ties. And obviously that is not going to happen. He's in line to be a head coach in the NFL. But I think if you're Bubba Cunningham, you still have to go out there and swing for the fences and make the phone call. I mean, you just
say you're a sleeping giant.
Yes, you have to make the phone call. You have to make the phone call. I mean, look, I heard this on the OG the other day. Why wouldn't you call Lincoln Riley at USC? Why wouldn't you do it? Think about it. My man is in the spotlight, and it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows there. You come and offer him a huge contract if he can get a buyout and come to the ACC and recruit the way he can and coach the way he can. Why in the world could he not bring a Carolina team to go to the ACC championship every single year and have a shot for the college football playoff as a 12-team bid? There's no way. Now, obviously that's a pipe dream. That's big names. Realistic names. You're looking at the Tulane head coach, I believe it's Summerall, and my personal number one currently, this obviously could change, is the Georgia DC. And his name is escaping me right now. I want to say it's Schumann. I believe it's Schumann. You can check that for me real quick. But this guy has been working hand in hand, hip to hip for the last couple years with not only Kirby Smart. Yeah, Glenn Schumann. Not only Kirby Smart, but before that he was with Kirby Smart and Nick Saban at Alabama. And he was their general manager role. Now, the only thing that concerns me, he's a very good recruiter and he's very good at the NIL and the transfer portal and all that stuff. And he has been the DC at Georgia for the last couple of years. And before that, I believe he was a linebackers coach. But for me, besides the recruiting, I truly believe you need a proven winner at every stop you've been to as a head coach. I don't care if you're at a mid-major. I don't care where you came from. You started in Pee-wee football, went to junior varsity, moved your way up to even talking about the JMU coach. Everyone focuses on recruiting. Matt came in and he recruited. We've talked about this. He got a couple 5 stars. He got a lot of 4 stars, the top players in North Carolina. But if you're not a coach that can coach and you can't bring the X's and O's to the field and you can't develop those players, they might as well be 2-star players because that's all they're going to turn out to be and perform. So I truly believe that you need someone that has a bright future, that has won at every single spot he has been to. And it's, again, Schumann and Summerall are my top 2 currently, but that could easily change. There's a lot out there to be decided for North Carolina, and I truly do not want to be Bubba Cunningham. I don't know where he's going to go.
I think there's a lot of names that are going to pop up, too. Like, this is not really the time of year to be shopping for a head coach anyway, so any of these names that we're hearing right now, I mean, there's guesses, right? I mean, unless you're hearing, like, the Arthur Smith, they actually had a conversation, right? So it's just a weird time of year to be looking for a head coach anyways. We're probably going to have to look around a little bit, a couple more weeks, right? And see where colleges want to go. So
I think their biggest advantage is they're going to be the biggest opening in the offseason. I don't see a lot of other big positions being open. And again, Carolina hasn't shown it as of the last decade, but I still think that Carolina job is a big job in college football. I truly believe that. The potential it has to be is a big job. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
You're still talking about ACC football.
Yeah, you are.
That's a big jump for a lot of coaches. The majority of coaches, just ACC football, period.
Yeah.
That's a big conference to jump into as a head coach.
Yeah, especially, like I said, especially being the only opening. So you're looking at a lot of these super talented coordinators or these head coaches, whether it be at mid-major schools. They're going to look at it. They're not going to have 4 or 5 different options. It's going to be a Carolina. Like that's just what it is. And again, that could obviously change. We still have multiple weeks to go before coaches, their situations are decided. But we'll see, man. My final thoughts on that. I think State pulls out the win tomorrow. I'll obviously be cheering the boys on. But I think Dave Doeren, like I said, only reason he's still there is because that son of a bitch can get him going for the Carolina game. And he does every single year. So I think the Wolfpack will come out on top.
Yeah, no, we'll both be tuned in, like I said.
Well,
he knows what game matters.
He does, man. I absolutely. But I tell you what, did you go Black Friday shopping last night?
No shot.
You didn't go, huh?
No. Had family over and we're I don't
yeah.
deal with all that stuff.
I think I was up till about 4:30 this morning, and I still think I'd rather go Black Friday shopping again than have to watch Carolina's performance tomorrow against NC State. And I'm tired. I am quite exhausted. Boy, did we have a lot of drinks today with her family and had a good time, but I think it's going to be rough, brother. I think it's going to be rough.
Might need some more drinks tomorrow, bud.
Hey. We'll see. Yeah, you're right. There'll be more drinks tomorrow. Who am I kidding? Look, everybody, we appreciate y'all listening. We hope you all had a phenomenal Thanksgiving with friends and family. That will do it for myself, Noah Borntrigger, and that was another episode of the Down South Sports Podcast. We'll see y'all next time.